Hello and welcome to the Music Survival Guide, the independent musician's guide on how to survive in the music industry. My name's Phil, a mixing engineer. Hope you're doing wonderfully well out there in podcast land. I am doing marvellously well here, to be honest with you. In London, spring has sprung and it's really nice, but it's a bit scary because then you realise you're about a third of the way through the year, which is, not trying to scare anyone, but it's true. So I hope you're having a good year so far. This week, I am chatting with Sam, who is the singer of a band called Daytura, and they are a really, really cool band. If you've not checked them out, listen to their first EP. I really loved the vibe. I really love the feel of it. It's very much that kind of 60s, 70s rock sound, and I just really like it. So please go and listen, but also listen to this podcast. So first, obviously, so we discuss things like finding the right people for your band who you'll gel well with and get on with musically as well as kind of personally. The importance and benefits of recording your band's rehearsals and how that can help you refine your decision making further down the line. And finally, the value of networking. Really, really important thing, really underrated skill. I'm going to stop blathering on and just say on with the interview. So today on the podcast, I am joined by Sam, who is the singer of Daytura. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you, Phil?
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's the clocks have changed, haven't they? So it's all...
Yeah, it's great.
I mean, it's not done my child any good, but hey ho. My first question, as always, is from an online random question generator. And my slightly strange question this week is, what is the longest that you stayed awake?
Let me think. I don't know, probably coming up to 24 hours, I'd say. Yeah. I think I was a little bit, can't really remember the last few hours, was a bit hallucinogenic probably by the end of it.
Yeah, I did a sponsor, I can't remember why, I did a sponsored stay awake thing.
Oh yeah.
I've no idea what it was about now. But I was when I was a teenager and I'd done it immediately after school. And so I realised that I'd essentially been awake for 24 hours by the time I finished.
A long day.
I was so tired by the end.
Yeah, I did have to think about that. Mine was, I was working at Glastonbury, and it was in like a kind of pop-up salon type thing. So we started very early in the morning, about 7, worked all day, and then enjoyed Glastonbury until the early morning. And I do remember rolling in and then having to get up about an hour later to start work again, which was savage, but it was all good fun.
That's painful though. An hour
Worth
of sleep
it.
after that. Well, not sure it would be worth it for me. Cool. So my first real question for you, I guess, is how did you get into music in the first place?
I've always really enjoyed creating music since I was very young, but I guess actually working with a band, it would have been in the last 4 years or so. So that's really where it started developing into something a little bit more.
How did you guys find each other? Was that the band from 4 years ago, or was that another band first?
No, so we've worked with a couple of close friends, and the lineup has kind of changed since we originally formed. But it started with me as a solo, and I kind of dragged in whoever I could to kind of help us and keep us going. And one of my partner's best friends, he's a drummer, and he very kindly offered to help me out, and it kind of went from there. And because he's in the industry locally, he knows everybody, he's one of those guys, so he was really the backbone of kicking it off the ground and developing the band, which was great.
Helpful to know these people.
Absolutely. I think if you're starting out and it's very new and you don't know anyone, it can be kind of a foreign world.
Yeah, definitely. I've often hearing about people when they start bands, it's finding people, but it's also finding the right people that can be really difficult.
Yeah. Well, actually, our bassist, I joined one of those platforms to try and find band members, and he was the first bassist I found, and he recently moved to the area and currently wasn't in any bands and had some spare time. So that's kind of where it kicked off from there. But he's hugely talented, and I'm so glad that he's kind of stayed with us the whole time. And we had two of our friends that were guitarists, and they were with us for kind of the beginning, early stages of the band. But they had, a lot of work commitments, a lot of other commitments that, that takes precedence. So naturally, we kind of moved on very amicably, and we're working with Sean, he's been our guitarist for the last year. He helped us write the songs on the EP, and he's very much a major part in the band.
I mean, it's interesting that he was kind of a part of the writing of the EP. I mean, it's quite a I'm going to use the word throwback kind of sound. I mean that in a nice way.
No, it is.
Take offence at that.
No,
was it something that you wanted to do in that style, or was it something that he?
I think.
Did you find it together? Or?
Yeah, I mean, from my perspective, I enjoy rock. I enjoy rock vocals. I feel like that's where my voice is better in that kind of genre and style. I'd written some ideas, but I think when you work in a band, if you are working as a band rather than a solo or like a front person with a band, it's very much a collaboration. I don't have the skills to be able to tell Lloyd what drum fills sound great or what bass solos or guitars. And I think we all added something really interesting and unique to come up with the songs we did. So yeah, that was really the idea of it was, does it feel right? Do we enjoy it? Is this what we want to do? And actually over the last year, I think our sound has got a little bit heavier in certain respects, kind of borders on metal and things like that, and harder rock. And yeah, definitely. I think last year we were trying to find our sound, feel what works for us in a live setting, because I think writing for live has a certain requirement for getting people moving and creating those songs that build energy. So that's really what we focused on. And now we're thinking about, do we want to write a body of work, and we want it to be cohesive and tell a story and really explore all the sounds that we want to create.
Does that mean that you're going to slightly move away from the sound of the last EP, or is that?
I think the EP was really just a collection of songs that we wrote and we liked. we had the studio time booked, and this is what we were going to do, and we like those songs. I think now that we've had a little bit of breathing room, we can think about what we'd like to do and where are we going to go from there.
When you got together and you kind of obviously you found the right people, and that took a bit of time to kind of get right. What was the first gig like as a band? Was it good? Was it bad? How was it?
I'm trying to think what it was, because we started writing in kind of January, February time, and then we had our first proper gig, like with all the material, in the May, and it was amazing because it just clicked, and we were able to play it live for everybody, and like our partners and everyone like that. They hadn't heard the songs, so it was such a good thing to get everyone's reaction and what did they like, what did they not like how did it work for us in a live scenario. And yeah, it was really, really good.
Well, I mean, were you nervous about it?
Yeah.
Seeing what people thought of your music?
Yeah, totally. In some respects, like the song I think we're most proud of was quite a slower song, and it was vocally more bluesy and more challenging. So I'd not really sung like that before. So it was a really good opportunity to do that, and it felt really scary, but I'm so glad I did. I really enjoyed it.
I mean, thinking about kind of gigs and things, have you had any like nightmare experience gigs where it's all gone wrong, or has it all been quite smooth sailing?
We actually did, yeah. Before we actually came up with our new lineup, we had a gig at the very beginning of the year in Bristol, and it was in I don't want to name names, but it was in the basement of a club, and it was a very small, hot basement, and everything that can go wrong did go wrong, and it was it was kind of a good end of an era gig, because after that point, I think people in the band that couldn't really commit much more of their time, that was really the catalyst for them to say, actually, time has come. And I think it had to kind of abruptly end like that, which was at the time kind crazy because the whole gig was just insane. And we decided to play we decided to play songs that we'd never even rehearsed, and just went for it. And our drummer Lloyd, he went very pale and almost fainted. I set my hair on fire before we even started the gig.
Right, okay.
Like, just, if those are the signs that it's like bad, you know, we really should have just not even played. So yeah, that. And then yeah, that was really the catalyst, and I think it was a good thing because we kind of all readdressed what we were doing in the band and where we wanted to individually go and what we wanted to collaboratively do, and how much time we could give to the project. And I think that was a good thing to happen. So after that point, we then kind of took a little break and started writing for the EP because, again, we had this time booked. So I wanted to do it. And, it was good. We had Sean that kind of took the reins with the guitar and added a lot to it.
Nice. It's the thing, isn't it? That finding the right people is about, it's obviously about people who are musically talented, but it's also about people who gel well together and people who have the time and availability to commit to what you're doing.
Yeah.
Which is so important.
Absolutely. Like, I do feel we all have our favourite genres. We all have our favourite style of music that we want to play. I think sometimes you can work through that and sometimes you can't. So I think at the moment it's really good that we're all kind of on the same page and kind of want to head in the same sort of musical direction.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. When it comes to songwriting and things like that, how do you write songs? Do you kind of individually come up with ideas and present a whole song? Do you jam out ideas in the rehearsal room? How does that work for you?
It's worked a bunch of different ways. I think with the EP, I had written 3 of the songs very basically. I brought them into everybody and said, let's see if we can do something with this. And we were able to. And they all added their parts, which changed the song, and, it all worked for the better. And then the 3rd song, June, actually the guys were jamming, and I record everything on a voice note, and I was recording and I was just kind of fiddling around with my mic and like sorting stuff out of the bag, and I just heard this like blues riff, and then it kind of opened up into more crashy and like something a bit bigger, and my ears kind of pricked up, and I took that recording and kind of chopped it up and looped it a little bit, and I kind of came up with a verse and a chorus right off the bat, and it just stayed like that, which was great. So it was really like a good flow moment where it all just kind of came together and it felt really good. So that was really nice. And then more recently, we've kind of all come up with little bits or something we want to try. Or I tend to write vocal melodies very basically with my guitar, and then I will either give it to Sean to see if he can do something with it, or as a group, we'll just kind of work through it on the spot. And same with Sean, he'll write a lot of tracks and say, can you do anything with that? And I'll try and put something on that, and kind of works vice versa. And then with Lloyd and Dave, if they have something they want to do or interject or try out, we then work through it all together.
So everyone has I was going to say everyone has a voice. Everyone has the option to have a voice. That's probably the best way to put it.
Yeah. And I think that's really important because everyone has something so unique they can bring. And that really changes like the way you perceive it to come out as, but it's always better. So I think that's really important.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you, to be honest with you. When it comes to recording and things like that, you've kind of referenced recording the EP. How do you prefer to do it? Do you prefer to go to the studio, or do you prefer to record yourself? What's your kind of thinking around that?
Yeah, we haven't really had that much experience recording. It's really that one time. But we recorded it as like a live recording and dubbed over parts that we wanted to layer up or change, or things like that. And that was a really great experience. I think it gave us the option to use instruments that we didn't have access to, and it gave us the option to bounce ideas off with kind of another set of ears, someone to kind of steer us in the right direction.
It's a really underrated way of recording, I think, doing it kind of quite live together and overdubbing
Yeah.
bits. It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of
Oh
fun.
my God, it was so fun. Yeah. Yeah. And I think for us, we only had the 2 days to record 4 tracks. So we were kind of up against it in that respect. And it just seemed to work better that way.
A very on the moment kind of point, I think, with the kind of rise of AI and things like that. Doing this kind of, I don't know, like perfect gridded, everyone's kind of recorded individually kind of thing. I think that might go away a little bit. I think moving towards the more live feel will become more important, to be honest.
Yeah. There's definitely a big discourse between the two because from my perspective, I think it sounds better. I think it sounds like it's got more energy, got more of a vibe to it. It doesn't sound so clinical kind of thing. But from like feedback with kind of radio pluggers and all these kind of industry people, they want that clean edit, and it's something the art you love against what is palatable. And I don't know, it depends what you're really chasing ultimately. I mean, we just released a live version of one of our songs purely because we're not going in the studio anytime soon, and I think it sounds great, so that's what we did.
I mean, I think with things like that, you just got to work out
Yeah.
what you want to do, don't you?
Mm.
You know, if you really enjoy the way you are making music, as it like in the way you did in that EP, then you just got to roll with it because you will have an audience out there. You do have an audience out there, but you just it's about finding them in the right way, as it were. And it may be
Yeah.
that those radio
Yeah.
stations is not the right way.
Yeah, I mean, for us, I think it would be eventually a wise move to work with a producer just to get another set of ears that can, again, just keep us on the right track. Because I think a lot of us have a lot of ideas and we want to do them all at the same time. So it would be really good if, yeah, we had that just overseer to keep us on the right track.
Definitely can be a very helpful thing to do. Help you kind of get that definition, I guess, is the way I'm going to put it.
Yeah, yeah, and I think as a band, if we'd like to progress to bigger stages, better things, that kind of thing, reach more people, it's without watering down what we're trying to do. It'd be good to hone in on what our sound actually is.
How do you guys rehearse? Do you kind of do a regular thing? Do you split up your time and spend some time jamming, some time kind of doing the set? How does that all work for you?
It really depends on our mood. We try and do like a Sunday evening rehearsal, and in that rehearsal, it will comprise of many different things. It would be probably running the set list, trying out new things, going off on a tangent and just playing random covers, and things like that that kind of keep it fun and enjoyable. And I think sometimes when we're in like a real writing mode, it can get a bit heavy if you're not all vibing with the same song at the same point, or like you've got it in your head, I'd like it to be a certain way, and at that point we kind of run it a couple of times, and if we don't feel it, we all kind of like can say, let's come back to this another day, let's come back to this, let's listen to it, because I record everything, listen to it and come up with some ideas for next time.
It's definitely a good way to do it because you don't want unmotivated band members trying to do a song.
And also, like, I think if you're not feeling good in what you're putting into the song, it kind of drags everyone down. So it's good to, and we're also honest, which is great. Like no one feels criticized. Like this isn't working. I don't think this is, but it's like we all do it, so it's good to come back to it.
Absolutely. I mean, a question, to be honest, this should have been a very early question, and it's one I've wanted to know since I first came across you guys. Where did the band name come from?
Oh yeah, we get asked this a lot actually, because we've had such a weird. When I came up with the name, it was really because we moved into a house and our garden was completely overgrown, and we had loads of plants and all sorts of interesting things in the garden. And I'm very much into my plants, my horticulture and things like that. So I knew this plant, it's a moonflower, it's called a jimson weed, but it's also called a Datura plant. It can be used recreationally for not good things, but also it's a really cool name for a flower. So I'd always thought like that's a cool name for a band. And when we came up with it, I used the original spelling of the flower, and I didn't know because obviously I'd made the page, but anyone who liked the page or anyone who followed us instantly got like a warning, like this might be a link to recreational drug use. Please don't follow. And we were kind of like not shadow banned, but in a way. So we decided to put a Y in it, and that solved all of our problems. So yeah, that's where we are now.
Fair.
Yeah.
I did wonder whether there was an extra Y in the name. That does make sense. Oh well, there we are. Joys of Instagram. The joys. So when it comes to kind of organisation of the band, how are you managed? Is there a single kind of point person who's in charge? Do you share out tasks? How does that work?
Yeah, I think because I kind of started as the solo, I've always been like the driving force in the band. I write most of the songs and then bring them in, and I do all the, I guess, admin, things like that. The guys contribute so much musically and gigging wise in their time to just going out performing in pubs with one person where we don't get paid. So for them, they give so much in other ways that I feel quite happy doing all of the other stuff to kind of keep us going.
Fair. Are you the boss when it comes to the band?
I try to be. I do try. I don't know. They're all quite bossy. There's some divas.
So what do you, in your opinion, what's been the biggest success of the band so far?
Trying to think now. We've actually had over the last year, there's been some real, just amazing progressional moments. So when we recorded the EP, we recorded with Phil Brown, who was engineer to Led Zeppelin at Headley Grange. And I mean, Led Zeppelin is my all-time biggest inspiration. And just working with someone who kind of mic'd up Lloyd's drums the way he mic'd up John Bonnon's drums. Like it's nerdy, but I was like overwhelmed, absolutely beside myself that we got to work with him for 2 days. And it was a great experience. And then we got to play some, really great stages over the year and support some great people and kind of network, which I never really wanted to do because I don't know. I probably come across as a confident person on stage, but because it's a field I don't know a lot about, I didn't really feel like I had a lot to offer in the way of networking. So doing that and making new friends and connections in the music industry, especially in my local area, has been really great. And it's been so supportive and, giggle off the back of that and, things like that. But more importantly, it feels like we're building a community, which has been really important. And that's kind of coming across now because we've got a tour booked in September. We've been working with a promoter and Russ and Jade at a promotion company called Sonar Presents. They kind of taken us under their wing, and that's been a real amazing moment just to be recognised in that way. So yeah, lots of different things, but equally all amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's funny you mentioned the local scene. I don't know what it is about Bournemouth. Feels like there's a megaton of bands from that place.
There is. Oh my God. And there's so much metal in Bournemouth. So much metal. And for the longest time, like Southampton was like a foreign land to us, even though it's like 20 miles away. And just getting into Southampton and getting into that scene was really great because we've now been able to kind of reach further. And people that come from Reading and Winchester, they've come to Southampton to watch us at gigs and, things like that. So it's kind of spreading out.
spread your kind of area of influence. That's not the right phrase at all, but
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Yeah. Yeah.
What goals do you guys have for the band for the next 6 months to a year or so?
Yeah. So we are playing anywhere that will have us, basically. We're just getting out there, meeting new people, playing our songs. We're writing. So we're writing for maybe an album. I'm not sure. We're just seeing where it goes. If we can collect a group of songs together and yeah, get there and just try and enjoy it, I think is the thing. Try not to get too heavy with it and just see where it takes us. Yeah. But I mean, that's the thing we love doing. And we find that when we get to play, we just meet people and then we have like a good community off the back of that. And it's really nice to kind of meet those people.
Yeah, and yours is the kind of music that really, I think, particularly thrives in a live context, I always think. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
It's always good. Always good to actually enjoy doing that side of
Yeah, no, that's the best part.
So my penultimate question for you is, what is your best piece of advice for bands nowadays? It can be anything that you can think of. I think everyone's got good advice.
Yeah. I think nowadays, especially if you're a new emerging band, it's not just the band you're doing, it's life and jobs and everything else. It seems like a really hard bridge to get across just to be seen. So I think first and foremost, it should be about your art. And we've had a lot of discussions about what kind of music we want to make and who likes it. And we always come back to the point that we like it and we love it. And it's about what we want to make first and foremost. And that's our story to tell. So it's completely unique. It's completely subjective. Not everyone's going to like us, but we're just going to carry on because we enjoy it. So I think that should be the main point, especially nowadays, because streaming payouts are very low and you don't often get paid to gig. So you've really got to love it. You've really got to love what you're actually making to keep going with it. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So my final question before I ask it was in the notes. It's for your favourite released song to play at the end of the episode. Is it okay if I have a copy of that song to play at the end of the episode?
Yeah.
I don't want to presume.
Do you want it like in an MP3 or a WAV file? Or?
I'll take a WAV, highest quality. I mean, I export it as an MP3 because it's a podcast, but it'll survive a bit better if it's a WAV.
Yeah. I mean, for some reason, I can't send them off my phone, but I've got them all in a Google Drive, which I can send you the link. And to be honest, you can choose any one of them you want. I don't mind.
You choose. That's what. That's
Me
good.
choose. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
So,
I'll choose.
So I'll ask my question properly, so it's got it for the podcast. So to close out the podcast, I'd like to ask you for your favourite song from the band that's been released so far to play at the end of the podcast. So which song is it and why?
I'm going to go for June, mainly because this was a song that was kind of a lightning in a bottle moment for us all. It just happened and we all just loved it so much. So yeah, June. Thank you. Thank you.
Again, that sounded so weirdly artificial. No, come on, brain, I can do this. So this is Daytura with June. Thank you very much for talking, Sam.
Thank you so much, Phil.